So, Elon Musk has this plan, and it sounds like it was ripped straight out of a blockbuster sci fi movie. The idea? To build a full blown working city on Mars. And with NASA now backing the project, this is moving from fantasy into a very real possibility. So, how on earth do we get from here to a bustling metropolis on the red planet? Okay, let's dive into the blueprint for humanity's next giant leap. And listen, we're not talking about some tiny research outpost with a few astronauts huddled inside. The scale of this ambition is just mind boggling. The goal is a thriving city of 1 million people, all living and working on Mars. But here's the real kicker: it's not just about getting 1 million people there. The whole point is to build a city that is completely self sufficient. I mean, able to survive, grow, and thrive for generations without needing a single critical supply shipment from Earth. And the timeline for pulling off this incredible feat? Well, the goal is to have this 1 million-person city up and running by the year 2050. That is an insanely ambitious schedule for what might just be the single biggest project in all of human history. This, of course, brings up a really big question. Why? Why would we leave our perfectly good planet for an unbelievably risky, expensive, and difficult journey to a cold, dead world? Well, as it turns out, the answer has less to do with the spirit of adventure and a whole lot more to do with pure necessity. You see, the real motivation behind this whole crazy plan is a pretty stark reality check. For years, the scientific data on our own planet's health has been painting a really concerning picture. So this isn't just about exploration. It's about creating a viable plan B for our species. Let's just look at the facts. Our widespread use of fossil fuels is consistently cranking up global temperatures. That warming is causing our glaciers and polar ice to melt at a rate we've never seen before, which in turn is leading to more frequent and way more powerful catastrophic weather all over the globe. And this isn't some far-off abstract issue. Earth's average temperature is literally ticking upwards by about 0.16 degrees Celsius every single decade. Now, I know that might not sound like a lot, but that tiny, steady increase has these massive cascading effects on our planet's entire climate system. So here's the bottom line. When you put all this data together, many scientists are coming to a pretty grim but logical conclusion. If we keep going on our current path, Earth might one day just not be able to support us anymore. And that is the real reason we're looking for a new home among the stars. Okay, but why Mars? I mean, there are other planets in our solar system. What makes the red planet the destination of choice? Let's break down the thinking behind picking our rusty next-door neighbor. So, our two closest neighbors are Venus and Mars. Venus, even though it's closer, is a total non-starter. We're talking surface temperatures hot enough to melt lead and a crushing atmosphere. It's basically the planetary disaster we're trying to escape from. Mars, on the other hand, well, it's brutally cold and farther away, but it holds real, actual potential. But that potential comes with a huge catch. Mars is fundamentally hostile to us. There's basically no breathable oxygen, no liquid water on the surface, and temperatures can dive down below minus 100 degrees Celsius. So, how in the world is survival even possible? This is where the engineering brilliance really kicks in. A super detailed, multi-phase blueprint has been drawn up specifically to tackle every single one of these life-threatening problems. This is the step-by-step guide for how we're actually going to live on Mars. The whole strategy breaks down into 3 pretty logical steps. First, you send robots to do all the heavy lifting and dangerous prep work. Second, you bring in the first human crews to move into their new homes. And third, the most important step of all, you figure out how to make the colony sustain itself forever. So get this, long before any human even packs their bags, a whole fleet of solar-powered AI-driven robots will land on Mars. Their one and only job is to dig up Martian soil, or regolith, and use these giant 3D printers to build the first human habitats, which will also protect them from radiation. It means a safe base is literally ready and waiting for the astronauts to arrive. The first crew could touch down as early as 2026. After that, it's kind of like a cosmic bus schedule. A new ship with more people and supplies will launch about every 2 years, timed perfectly for when Earth and Mars are closest, making the trip as short as possible. And this steady flow of people is how we scale up to that 1 million-person goal by 2050. So once they get there, the settlers will live inside those shelters the robots built, using these pressurized, inflatable modules that basically mimic Earth's atmosphere. Think of them as interconnected pods, all powered by a big solar farm and equipped with special airlocks so you can safely go outside onto the harsh Martian surface.
Okay, now for the most critical part, becoming self-sufficient. So, water is going to be harvested by melting the huge amounts of ice that we know are just under the Martian surface. Food, at least at first, will be things like potatoes and beans grown in climate-controlled greenhouses. And breathable oxygen? Well, that takes some seriously cool chemistry.
And this isn't just a theory. An experimental gadget on a Mars rover has already proven that it can pull carbon dioxide right out of the thin Martian air and convert it into pure, breathable oxygen. The technology works. It's been tested on Mars, and it is the absolute key to making this whole thing possible.
So you put all those pieces together, the robot-built shelters, a steady stream of people, and the ability to make your own water, food, and air right there on site. The result? A truly viable human colony, able to survive on its own, millions and millions of miles away from home.
But just surviving inside a little habitat is only the beginning. The ultimate long-term vision is so much bigger, so much more ambitious. It's about changing the entire planet of Mars itself. This is the goal of terraforming, basically rewriting a planet's climate to make it more like Earth. So how in the world would you even do that? Well, a few radical ideas have been thrown around. One, from MIT's Margarita Marnova, suggests a really ironic solution. We could build factories on Mars whose only job is to pump out greenhouse gases, deliberately creating the exact same global warming effect that's causing us so many problems here on Earth. And then there's an even more dramatic and kind of shocking proposal from Elon Musk himself. His idea? We could jumpstart the warming process by detonating thousands of nuclear weapons over the Martian poles. The idea is that the intense, instant heat would vaporize the frozen carbon dioxide ice caps, releasing it all into the atmosphere and rapidly heating up the whole planet. And that really leaves us with a profound question to think about, doesn't it? As we look to secure humanity's future, it seems like we're facing two very different paths. The slow, careful process of building a new world from the ground up, or the fast, violent process of breaking one just to bend it to our will. What does that choice really say about us?